United stand. This is the Ole Gunnar Solskjaer press conference reaction for Manchester United versus Barcelona. And why is it that Manchester United always have a challenge beyond a challenge? That's what I've picked up from today's shocking news for Manchester United fans, really. The injury crisis that has hit home again. And why is it always Manchester United? And why is it always so many players? It really, really is frustrating. We've had a week off. We've not played since last Tuesday. So we've had 8 days off. And we've had no benefit from it at all. We're like, oh, you know what? It's a good thing we're not playing in the FA Cup because all these players that are injured or carrying knocks, they can do better. Well, Marcus Rashford's still carrying a knock and he's a doubt for tomorrow. Probably will play, but still carrying a knock. Herrera's out. Matic is out. Eric Bailly's out. So it's like, what the hell is going on at Manchester United? This is the second time this has happened in the space of 6 weeks. A major injury crisis going into a massive game. Barcelona is a big challenge, but are Barcelona coming with 3 or 4 injuries? No. You know, a Spurs carrying 3 or 4 injuries. A Chelsea carrying 3 or 4 injuries. A Liverpool carrying 3 or 4 injuries. No, it's always us. Every bloody year, for the last 6 or 7, we always have major injury crises. I mean, and something needs to be done at the club now. I mean, it could be as simple that it's Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, Mourinho's lazy tactics, not getting his team to run about much, so we're getting more fatigue injuries. But it's really disappointing. It's really disappointing going into a big game like this against Barcelona, but also the most important part of our season, and we are the one club carrying a massive injury list again. And it really does annoy me. I know it shouldn't, but it really does annoy me because this is a big game against Barcelona. It's a big game against West Ham on Saturday, and it's a big game against Barcelona on Tuesday, and then it's a big game against Everton on the Sunday. There is no time now. We need people back, fit, playing football, and the midfield, where the game can be won and lost. You know, we spoke about, we need Matic, Herrera, Pogba at their very best. We ain't going to have Matic and Herrera. They're out. So it's Pogba again with the weight of the team on his shoulders, with maybe McTominay, Fred, Pereira next to him. I'm sorry, that's not our best midfield 3. And we're playing one of the best teams in the world. And everyone will be there going, oh, Pogba again has failed. But you need to understand football. How is he supposed to carry a bloody team when he's the only decent midfielder in there? It just frustrates me. It really frustrates me. And I know in some ways it's a flawed frustration, but we seem to have this. I mean, we beat PSG on our knees, and everyone will go, oh, remember PSG. But it gets to a point where you're like, when are we going to stop this injury problem at Manchester United? Why is it continually happening? And why is it it's just ridiculous, the amount of injuries again. Herrera, Eric Bailly, Matic, Valencia. I mean, even Valencia would be quite useful because Jones and Young Young and Shaw can't play against West Ham at the weekend. What's worse, goalless draw or score draw, says Pack376. Oh, you know what? I don't even want a score draw. I'd rather get a goal. I don't want a goalless draw. I'd rather have a score draw. I'm not, I just want to be entertained at the end of the day. I really, really do. I mean, Daps says, is there a Herrera conspiracy? Look, Ander Herrera, if we are not playing him because of the contract thing, then we are a small-minded club, and we're meant to be Manchester United. As I said, Aaron Ramsey is leaving Arsenal in the summer. Facts. He's going to Juventus. He's captained them and he's scored goals. If we're now going to be that club that doesn't play Ander Herrera because he won't sign a new contract, I tell you what, I've even put it in my notes here. If Ander Herrera doesn't play between now and the end of the season, we won't get top 4. And look, there'll be a lot of people saying, no, you're wrong, we can do it. We won't get top 4. In my opinion, if Ander Herrera doesn't play for us again this season, we won't get top 4. You know why? Because that midfield's not good enough. It's not good enough. Paul Pogba's good enough, but he can't do it all on his own. We need a better midfield. And again, we're going into a massive game tomorrow, and we're hoping that people like McTominay and Fred and Pereira can put in performances beyond their ability levels to help us through a game. But it is frustrating having the midfield is your engine, and again we're coming up short. I mean, hallelujah, here we go. What did I say back in January? We needed to go and make a signing in the midfield. We didn't do it, and it's coming back to bite us yet again. All eyes on Paul Pogba, but that midfield is now our weak spot tomorrow. I hope it can work out all right. But what I would say is that I'm not putting up the white flag. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do that at all. Paminda Dylan says Pogba's auditioning for La Liga. Nice background, by the way. Well, it's interesting because one of the Spanish journalists did actually speak about Paul Pogba, and I suspected it might happen. And he was asked about Paul Pogba. and France Football talking about him going to Madrid in the summer. Solskjaer was asked a direct question, and he said, look, he said what I said last night, really, which is the right thing to say. Paul Pogba's only focused on the Barcelona game. He's a Manchester United player at the moment, and what happens in the summer is irrelevant to what's going to happen over the next few weeks. He is a Manchester United player, and he is focused on this. And he said, he didn't play particularly well in the first leg against PSG, so it's a big moment for Paul Pogba. But most important of all, he did say, in relation to Paul Pogba, I can't see him not at United next year, which is I feel the same. I think Paul Pogba will be at Manchester United next year. So, you can put that in your pipe and smoke it, Pogba haters, because our manager, he could have just said, Pogba's focused on the Barcelona game and he's a Manchester United player, and that's all I'm focused on at the moment. But he didn't. He did add in there, I can't see him not being a Manchester United player next year, which is very encouraging from a Manchester United manager. So that's very, very good. Welcome to Stuart Browning, our latest United Stand member. Abdirahman MVP says we're going to lose tomorrow. Well, I've done my preview on it. I'm not going to go down that route. I am going to stay positive. There was a lot of that press conference with Ole Gunnar Solskjaer talking about Barcelona, focused on Lionel Messi, and all Solskjaer said is what many of us are saying. Do you have a plan for Lionel Messi? Probably not. He's one of the best players there's ever been. So, but it doesn't mean we can't stop him. It doesn't mean that at all. And all you hear about is, Barcelona, is it best to just hang into the tie in the Nou Camp for the last 10 minutes at 0-0 and try and nick a goal? And concentration levels have got to be really, really high for 90 minutes and the extra time, la, la, la. But it just makes me think, look, are we Manchester United versus Barcelona? Are we Macclesfield Town versus Barcelona? Yes, we're the underdogs, but it's almost been painted that we're like whipping boys. We've got really good players. We've got Pogba, we've got De Gea, we've got Rashford, we've got Martial. We've got some really good players. And we need to make them concentrate as well. They ain't going to come to Old Trafford and just say, let's go gung-ho and, smash Manchester United. I'm sure they'd like that to happen. But if they do that and we're on our game, we can hurt them as well. So I think there's a little bit of disrespect starting to slip in. I really do. I think United just need to quietly go about their job and focus on this game. And Ole Gunnar Solskjaer spoke about the confidence is high and there's a feeling of tension and excitement within the squad that maybe wasn't there for the PSG game and the home game, where we were on a good run and maybe we're a little bit naive going into that game. We now know that in European football, teams are going to be, manipulative. They're going to look for the fouls. They're going to keep hold of the ball, and we're ready for that. He mentioned the referee. I mean, Manchester United apparently have got 5 players on 5 yellow cards. So if any of those players get a yellow card tomorrow, they won't be playing in the Nou Camp. Which again, as I said at the start of the show, we are Manchester United and we are carrying 4 major injuries again. So we're down to the bare bones again after 8 days. Well, this is what annoys me though. In the last. Let me just figure this out. So when did we play Watford? A week ago, wasn't it? Just over a week ago. So over the last 3 weeks, Manchester United have played 2 games and had nearly 3 weeks rest with the international break and then the last 8 days. And we're no good for it. We've still got loads of injuries. And I'm getting myself frustrated again, but we've still got loads of injuries. And the most important 2 injuries we've got are Herrera and Matic. I just don't get it. Matic was out for February and March and he's injured again. Herrera, similarly, did his hamstring against Liverpool back in, was that February, late February, early March? And he's still not back. And it's like, you can't carry these sort of injuries. They're too important to the team. And I know people have got a lot of confidence in people like McTominay and Fred and Pereira. But we need we need Matic and Herrera playing like they were in January and February. And we haven't got them again. And it's really frustrating. Like I say, Barcelona's a big challenge, but we seem to want to put the icing on a challenge all the time at the moment. Not only have we got this big challenge, but let's do it with loads of injuries as well. It's really, really tough. Messi has not scored in the quarterfinals for 6 years, says Philip Matthews. I'd get a bet on that. I quite fancy Messi to score, to be honest. I think Chris Smalling was asked about... Let's not misquote Chris Smalling because I remember it made me laugh. So he was asked about Chris Smalling. Chris Smalling was asked about Lionel Messi, and Smalling said he's relishing it, and he said, I say, bring it on. which is really encouraging. I think I say bring it on is a really, really great line, but I've never been so unconvinced by the statement, let's bring it, I say bring it on, than when it's Chris Smalling saying it about Lionel Messi. I think Chris Smalling can get put on his arse by anybody. I remember Lucas Moura doing it in August at Old Trafford. The thoughts of Lionel Messi running one-on-one against Chris Smalling, it doesn't fill me with a lot of confidence, but we are what we are, we go with what we got. And Henrik Hultqvist says, how would you start the midfield without Matic and Herrera? Says Henrik, I'll come back to that. And Polo Haugeland, is Adam going on United stand tomorrow since he's not going to the game? Super excited, we will win. I don't know, Paolo. I don't know. I didn't know that myself. But how would I go tomorrow? It's a very good point, because obviously my predicted lineup was Herrera and Matic playing in a midfield three. We are now weakened massively. But I think I would play Fred as the CDM. I know he made the mistake against... To be honest with you, I'd go with the same midfield three. I'd go with Fred, McTominay and Pogba. I think it massively weakens us. I don't think that McTominay or Fred are anywhere near the level of Barcelona's midfield three, and it weakens us a lot. But that's what I would go with, because the only other option is Andreas Pereira. We haven't got... You could put Phil Jones in there. You could put Lindelof in there and put Phil Jones at the back. But the issue is with Barcelona is that Messi and Coutinho will gravitate towards our CDM. Now, if that's Matic, he's very experienced. If that's McTominay or Fred, it's a little bit different. But that's what I would do, without question. Alexis Sanchez is back in training. I've never been so uninspired about one of the league's best played player being back in training. To be honest with you, I'd rather he was out till the summer. I just think he will cause us more problems than he's worth. And I actually, when I heard that he's going to be back, he's not back for the Barcelona game, he's back for the West Ham game. I actually thought our top four chances have just taken a beating, because Alexis Sanchez, part of the matchday squad, I hope he proves me wrong, but I just feel angry and frustrated that he's back. He's a flop, and he's a selfish flop, and he doesn't bring anything to our team, and we actually haven't got injuries in the position he plays, so I don't see what he offers us at all. We've got Martial, we've got Rashford, we've got Lukaku, we've got Mata, and we've got Lingard. I don't want Alexis Sanchez part of the mess. I don't want him part of it. Maybe he can come back and be reborn from 3 years ago, but I'm not counting my chickens about that. I don't want Alexis Sanchez back. He is back. I'm sure some people will be quite happy about that. Ollie says we've got to defend well, and we will, which is a very strong statement, so I hope that will be the case. And he was also asked a good question about is your best chance of getting into the Champions League next season by winning the Champions League? And he said, well, look, we've had a great run. We're definitely in a race for top four in the league. We have no right to be in that, which I liked Ollie saying that, because I've been saying it and you've been saying it. We've got no right to be in this position. What the situation Ole Gunnar Solskjaer took over back in December, 11 points off top four. We're in a race for top four now, no doubt about that. And I still think that the league is our best bet for top four. I think Champions League is going to be very, very difficult. But we've got a chance. We're in it, and why not? Why not? I think that my prediction yesterday was a draw in this Old Trafford game. I'm trying to stay I'm trying to stay upbeat, and I'm trying to say I'm definitely up for the fight. Bring it on, Chris Smalling. Peace. But I am frustrated, I've got to be honest with you. I'm frustrated with something that, as football fans, will totally understand. There is nothing to be frustrated about. It's just one of those things. But why is it always us? As I said, we've got 4 major injuries. No Herrera, no Matic. Rashford's carrying a knock still. Bay's injured. Why is it always us? We had this in February and we worked our way back from it. And we thought, last time against PSG, we had all those injuries and we pulled off a miracle. And then here we are back in April, and massive month ahead, injury crisis. It's always Manchester United. I think there must be something wrong with the facilities, the physios, whatever, because it's always us, and it's such a massive disadvantage for us. I'm not saying we can't win. Of course we can win, but we always have to do it the hard way. We're always battling a challenge beyond a challenge, and it frustrates me. It really does. You wanted to be going into this game with the best team you can put out, and arguably we're missing 3 or 4 of our best players tomorrow, and that frustrates me a lot. But it is what it is. We go with what we've got, and we do what we have to do. And that's that, isn't it? That's that. Combined 11 says Coda99. I might do a video on that. That's a good point. But you'd probably only get about four Man United players in there maximum, maybe only 3. I blame the garlic, says Aziz United. Slow sideways football for 4 years, says Viking Red. Barca beat PSG on away goals and we beat PSG. We could win, says Alzaba. Ali alluded to a very important thing though that we must bear in mind. That last season Barcelona beat Roma quite comfortably in the first leg, and then got beat really comfortably in Italy. I think the year before PSG did they take a 4-0 lead from the home leg to Barcelona and still lost. So there's no result tomorrow that kills this tie off unless it's Barcelona 4, United 0, we're out. But even if we win 2-1 tomorrow, the chances are we're still going to get pummeled in the Nou Camp. So tomorrow night is just about, we've just got to go at it in the right way. We've got to try and express ourselves somehow, and it's so hard to do that when your midfield is on its legs again. And that's what's frustrated me about that press conference, is that it's not our best midfield again. Again, we're going to be going into that game hoping, like I say, that McTominay, Fred or Pereira has a really good game, but not really confident that they're going to grab hold of the ball and move the ball quickly from back to front. It's hard for them to do it. They're not the first teamers. It's hard for Pogba to run a game when the opposition swamp him because the other 2 aren't up to it. And that's the hard thing for us. They'll know yet again, swamp United's left-hand side. Stop Shaw bombing on, smother Martial, swamp Pogba, let them have the right-hand side because they're crap. Ashley Young, whoever the right side of midfield is going to be. Lingard always comes inside. We might have the same problem tomorrow. Focus down the left-hand side, weak in the midfield. I hope not. The crowd will be up for it. But Sunini Ching says Mark's trying to give excuses now. I don't do excuses. I'm not doing excuses. Are you looking for me to have a pop at Barcelona fans again? Fine, okay. Barcelona fans, glory boys, the Spanish Arsenal fans, crap people who were crap at football at school, who just support Barcelona because Barcelona are an easy club to support, who've got the best player in the world, and then you can get into football debates and say, I support Barcelona, look how great I am, when actually, sod all about football. I ain't got any love for Barcelona. I hope we beat Barcelona, so I'm not making excuses at all. But what I am saying is, I'm pissed off that yet again, we are at an important stage of our season and we've got loads of injuries. I'm annoyed by that. I am annoyed by that, but I'm not making excuses. I don't need to make excuses. End of the day, it is what it is. We go with what we've got. That's football, but it's always us. It always seems to be us. And I'm not making excuses because I don't actually believe in coincidence. I don't think it's a coincidence that United for the last 6 years, even 7 years, I remember under Sir Alex Ferguson as well, we've always had injury crises at this club for the last 7 or 8 years. I don't think that's a coincidence. I think it's bad training. There's something going on at that club. It's either the players that we buy are injury prone or the facilities that we've got and the physios that we've got is shit. But it's not acceptable. We had this in February. We had it in February. Remember against Liverpool and PSG? We got all those injuries. We used 3 subs in the first half against Liverpool and we didn't get beat and we got some really good results and we were like, oh, let's just get to the international break. And we did. Still in a race for top 4. Still in the Champions League. Yes, it's the international break. 2 weeks off for those players to recover. Then we've got 8 days off between Wolves and Barcelona for people to cover. Nobody's bloody recovered. Nobody's back. We're as bad as we were then. We've got another mini injury crisis. It's bloody annoying. I'm so annoyed by it. All this rest period, all this time to get people back and they're still bloody injured. Matic has been injured twice. Herrera's been injured twice. Eric Bailly's injured. I don't even know how he's bloody done it. Marcus Rashford seems to have been carrying an injury for about a year. It's just frustrating. It's frustration as a fan that we're going into a massive game again, and it seems to have been going on for weeks, we're going into games again with reserve players and key players not fit. And that's hard. Are Liverpool doing it? Are City doing it? Are Arsenal doing it? Are Chelsea doing it? Are Spurs doing it? No, they're not. It's the business end of the season and everyone's getting back for them. It's the business end of our season and all we hear about is injuries, contracts not being signed. It's just frustrating. It's frustrating. But I'm not giving up. I won't give up till the final whistle tomorrow. I'm not giving up. It's Manchester United at Old Trafford. It's a big game. We've got some good players. And as I said last night, they've got to deliver. Let's see what happens. Bring it on. I am anonymous, says fitness trainers need to be changed. Hello, Mark from India, says Barney J. Is Martial also injured, Mark? No, Eric Ross, he's all right. He's all right. And I think Rashford will be all right as well. But it's the midfield where we're gonna struggle. I would play Fred. I don't know. I just want to ask you that a lot as well. What midfield three would you play tomorrow, considering Herrera's out? Matic is a question mark. But would you play Matic with a question mark over him? And to be honest, he's been playing rubbish lately. I wouldn't play Matic. If Matic is a doubt, don't play him. He's not playing well enough to play him as a doubt. So, Matic needs to be 100% fit. I would go Fred, CDM, McTominay right-sided midfielder and Pogba. Yeah, it's a weak midfield, but I'd rather play that than try and shoehorn McTominay into CDM and Pereira as a right-sided player. I think you've got to go with Fred and McTominay with Pogba. We could change formation. We could go with a midfield 2. We could go a 4-2-3-1 and put Pogba in a deeper position with Fred and put Lingard centrally, Rashford and Martial with Lukaku up front. We could do that. There are options, but I don't know what's going on in training minute. I really, really don't. McTominay, Fred and Pogba. McTominay over Matic any day, says Avishak. People keep making this mistake. You need to educate yourself. McTominay is not a replacement for Matic. McTominay is not a CDM. Solskjaer said it himself last week. We didn't play him as a CDM last week. We played Fred there. McTominay is a CDM. McTominay for Fred and McTominay for Matic is not what United are trying to do. That's not what we're doing anymore. I know we did it a couple of times in the past, but that's not what they're doing. They're trying to get McTominay as more as a box-to-box. McTominay's more in the Herrera position. It's Fred in the Matic position. Super chat from Zachary Perez. He says, feels like the other teams are deeper depth-wise, so they rotate more and you see less injuries. Maybe Smalling has a right plan with veganism. The stupid thing is, United's squad is absolutely massive, Zachary. Compared to Arsenal and Chelsea and Spurs and Liverpool, I think we've got a deeper squad of international players. Quality's not there, but we've definitely got a bigger squad. But where that squad is, I don't know. It's always bloody injured. Pogba, Fred and Andreas, says Anshul. Yeah, I think McTominay definitely will play because he's tall. I think United even still think that having tall players helps, and I think he will play for that. And we're missing Fellaini. No, we're definitely not. We're definitely not, Olivia. We don't miss Fellaini. McTominay's 10 times the player he is. Mark Pelfrey, if Pogba has a poop game, is it over for him at United? Says, no, I don't see. This is where I think we're going to go wrong with this. Automatically, people will think if Pogba has a bad game, oh, he's terrible. But I'm already going to give Pogba an excuse. Paul Pogba's the only player in that midfield who's fit that's decent. The Champions League decent. McTominay, Fred, Pereira, they ain't Champions League players. They're not. They're backup players. We've got no Herrera, we've got no Matic. So Pogba tomorrow, if I was Barcelona, I would say get 2 players on Pogba every time he's got the ball. He's the only threat they've got in the midfield. Let McTominay and Fred have the ball. They ain't going to hurt you. They can't carry the ball. They can't play long passes. They'll just do little 5-10 yard passes and move. They ain't going to hurt you. Pogba can hurt us. Pogba can carry the ball. He's potentially world class. So Barcelona will swamp Pogba, and that should stop our midfield. If that happens, some United fans will go Pogba was crap again, but they won't understand what Barcelona's tactic is. If you're a manager, a coach, FIFA, whatever, if you're playing a team and they've only got one decent midfielder, you're a fool not to sort that midfielder out by getting them swamped by players all the time. Don't give them the freedom of the park when you can kill the midfield of their opposition. So I would be careful about Pogba criticism, to be honest with you. Anyway, thanks everyone for watching. A little bit of an update. There's no 8 o'clock show tonight with me because I'm watching Manchester City versus Spurs. I'm doing a watch along on That's Football. You can join me on that channel at 8 o'clock tonight. Manchester City versus Spurs Champions League watch along on That's Football. However, We've moved things around. There is Flex and Rants, and that will be out live at 7 o'clock tonight with live comments. So there is a show tonight. It's the Flex and Rants show. We've moved that to 7 o'clock for you, so you get an evening show, and we will have a live comments for you for that, and I'll hopefully be on it as well. But I will be live on That's Football at 8 o'clock for Man City against Spurs, which we're all going to be watching anyway. I don't think anyone can knock not having a United Stand show at 8 o'clock, but we will have one at 7. Thanks for watching. Please smash a like on the video. Make sure you subscribe if you're new. Adam Morris says, "Hi Mark, hope you're well. Do you think Herrera is actually injured?" He better bloody be injured, Adam. As I said before, we're a small-minded club if we're not picking our best midfielder because he won't sign a contract. Look at what Aaron Ramsey and Arsenal are doing. Mutual, professional, understanding. Yes, he's going to go in the summer, but they need him. If we're dropping players because we're throwing our toys out the pram to get him to sign a contract, how bloody small-minded is that? We're basically giving up top 4 and giving up games to try and teach somebody a lesson who's leaving. It's a joke. So it better not be true. I hope he actually is injured, because it'd be a joke if not. Speak to you all soon. Thanks for watching, and do join me for Man City versus Spurs tonight. I'm singing for Spurs, as I'm sure all you are. I think it's going to be a cracker. Speak to you later.